Yeah, we had this guy on the podcast a couple of years ago. His name was Richard Gage, and he was part of the architects and engineers for 9/11 Truth. I think it's like 3,000 of them, some big number. It wasn't a small number. The interview was taken down. And a week later, 4 days later, they took down the interview. Not sure why, but they took down the interview. And we were pushing back, and he was saying this is what happened, and YouTube didn't want that to stay up. It was taken down. So, okay, let me ask you another question. Stephen Greer, what are your thoughts on Stephen Greer?
I don't know him. So I don't ever usually have an opinion on anybody. I never talk about anybody if I haven't had a chance to meet them personally.
So I had him on for the second time 2 months ago. And are you familiar with Sean Ryan, podcaster Sean Ryan? Mm-hmm. He had Greer on. Rob, can you pull up that one clip? Because this is the part where it's kind of like,
I think I'm aware of it. I know the one you're going to show.
Yeah, there's a couple of them. I want to show this one here too. I want to see what you're going to say about it. Go ahead.
When you're talking about these disinformation agents, these knocks, I have somebody that comes to mind, and we were talking about him at lunch. Lou Elizondo. Is he one of them?
Oh, of course. I mean, as soon as he emerged on the stage, I had a very senior guy at CIA who's worked this issue since 1979 contact me about that problem. But remember, the only way that you can control at this point all this coming out because of what we have and what we're pushing forward through media is to control the narrative, the spin. So the people coming forward who get an all-access pass on to, say, 60 Minutes or something like that, are people cleared by this same illegal, corrupt organization because they'll tell the public, yes, the UAPs are real, but we don't know what they are. Well, this is an absolute lie. We absolutely know what they are. Some of them are ours, man-made, and are confused quite frequently with the others, which are of extraterrestrial origin, or ETVs, extraterrestrial vehicles. And those operatives are taught very well to take an issue, grab it, capture it, and then spin it in the direction that they want. Now, the direction they want is endless ambiguity. Gee, we don't know what they are. We don't know what they are. It's nonsense. We've proven what they are. Well, I have 755 whistleblowers.
You have 755 whistleblowers?
Yeah. I mean, this archive is unbelievable.
You had mentioned that you...
What do you think about what he says? Because,
well, where are the whistleblowers? And I'll tell you, isn't he the same guy they wrote an article about, if I'm not mistaken, who apparently was accused of taking people on a tour and then paying some dude to pay, like $500 to drop flares out of a Cessna? Is that the same guy?
I don't know that.
I think there was an article. You can. I think it was done by the Debrief, I think. Anyways, my mom always told me if I have nothing kind to say, don't say it at all. So I've never met the man, but it's nonsense. I don't know what to tell you, man. I mean, look, where are the whistleblowers? When I went to the IG, and had my conversation, I didn't see any of them. I know the ones that we talk to. We go to Congress and we talk to Congress. I haven't seen him.
This is the one you're talking about?
That's it.
Likes to suggest that he is a regular contact with extraterrestrial. Can I kindly in a person begins to document close encounters of the fifth kind, but is really contact with them? The U.S. military, I'm very confident UFOs are unknowns, not belonging to China, the U.S. or Russia. He said, I'm not convinced that these objects, with Greer seeing, tuition fee, some of that's on a week-long tuition for $2,500 or $3,500. Back in January 27, when Greer expedition claimed to have summoned 2 UFOs, the video of sightings was posted to Greer's YouTube channel, and this incident was first close listed on the photographic and the video evidence. But where's the one with the flares? Go a little lower, Rob, to see if you find it. Night scopes. Just Control F flares. So I'm looking for night scopes. There's no smoke. There's no trails. There are no flares. It continues. They're falling. They're waiting for us to arrive. A few seconds later, Greer implores us, let's welcome, and begins to join us into meditation. This is a beautiful color. You'll see. You'll never forget the color. This is huge. Yes, this is a major event. At 3 minutes and 32-second mark, the first light disappears, ignoring the light's slow but obvious altitude declines. Greer states that they've They've stayed pretty much the same altitude, though. Let's invite them to come to us close. And I know that's gone into the ocean. Greer includes now the way that you know that's not like something like a flare. So shoot up, but were these UFOs or were they something terrestrial?
Well, keep reading.
Okay.
I mean, it's pretty compelling.
Flight-aware flight tracking data attained at Washington exam suggested that later is true. At 9:11 p.m., January 27, that Beach 76 Duchess registered N110 SU was recording flying at 85 miles off Vero Beach. This is lower than aircraft normal cruising speed, would feasibly allow the air crew to deploy parachute flares or some other illumination device. The aircraft took off and returned to the airport in Fort Pierce. The screenshots below showed the aircraft's location at the time of the event. The owner of the aircraft is listed by Federal Aviation Administration as R.E. Ben Aviator Incorporated. So Fort Pierce, when I reached out to the aviator and flight and maintenance reviews, told me that the college never does things like dropping flares. After sending a Spear a copy of the flight record, he did not respond to any further emails. Incidentally, another aircraft listed to RE was forced to land on Section Interstate 95 on Florida on January 30th, 2017, after running out of fuel. CNN has also reported that RE received a loan of between $350,000 or $1 million under the federal government's coronavirus relief. Got it. Okay. So what's your point with this? You're saying that some of the stuff that he's doing, by the way, is that the video? Can we see it, Rob? Can you just play that? I just want to see what it looks like. Can you go to the flare part?
Orange object. Look up.
Whoa.
Oh my God.
Whoa, just don't pop
stand
too
up,
much.
please. Crouch down and look, because you'll block our cameras.
Yeah, those are
Wow.
illumination flares.
Those behind me may move and stand up, because
Well, what is he saying they are?
you see that color?
I don't know. I don't pay attention. I don't, like I said, I don't know the gentleman,
no.
so I don't invest any time.
Okay, so so to me though, where I go with this is I had him on twice, and I listened to. By the way, I don't know if you watched the documentary he did about the Invention Secrecy Act of 1951.
No, I don't watch his material.
Okay, in your world, who is Stephen Greer or types like him in your world in the military? How do folks look at someone like Stephen Greer?
We don't deal with him. ATIP was only focused on military encounters, and so as a civilian, I'd never met him. I don't know much about him, and I've never worked with the guy. I'm aware of his feelings towards me. He's certainly entitled to whatever feelings he wants, but proof is in the pudding. We got videos released. We've got Congress involved. We've got an Arrow now, an organization that's been established. We've got whistleblowers coming out. I don't know what to tell you. People are free in this country to do what they want, listen to who they want. It is a free country, and I encourage people to get all sides of the narrative. I will never tell anybody, don't talk to somebody. Go ahead. Do you want to be my guest?
Yeah, you see, that's the part. That's the part for me where, as a viewer, you sit there, me, or anybody else that's watching this, you're like, oh, shit, who the hell do I believe? Do I believe the free market, private, somebody doing independent work? Do I trust the government that for many years they've lied to me? And
you don't believe anybody. You believe the data. This is the problem. When anybody gets up there and says, believe only me, that's a problem. You don't hear me saying that.
I agree. I agree.
What I think, it doesn't matter what Lou Elizondo thinks. What matters is what you think. Here's the data. My job is simple. Here's the data.
Right.
You figure it out yourself what it means to you. I'm not going to sit here and tell you weave some little narrative about, history. Look, here's the bottom line. You can analyze it yourself. There it is. You figure it out, right? So these are the facts behind it. X, Y, Z. Here's the videos. Here's FLIR footage. Here's the telemetry. Here's the study and the analysis that's been done. Here's the radar returns. Here's the eyewitnesses. What else you want? That's up to you at that point. That's the problem I have with a lot of people out there who prescribe narratives, right? Like, oh, this person's a disinformation agent. Do you even know what that means? Have you ever held a security clearance? You have never been in any meetings I've been in, So this is my trouble I have with people. And this is why when people ask me my opinion, I don't really like to share it because I've learned one thing in the intelligence community. You can be absolutely sure of something and still be absolutely wrong. And that's important because I know my own limitations. I'm the first person to say, Lou, what do you think about this? You know what? Doesn't matter what I think. What matters is what you think. Here's the data. And then you figure out what this means to you. Because this topic, is a lot more like, people talk about, the military industrial complex, and they're trying to look, I don't want a general telling me how to feel about this topic. If it's a national security issue, great. If you're going to tell me how we're going to stop these things from interfering with our nukes or how to stop them from coming over our sensitive military installations, great. But this conversation is much bigger. It's a conversation that involves both the psychology and the sociology and the theology and the philosophy of human beings. And maybe this conversation is better off talking to your priest or your imam or your rabbi, right? Or maybe your family around the table. I don't want some 2, 3, or 3-star general telling me what I should think about this. This is why I think transparency is so important. Because
who's the 2, 3-star general?
I'm kind of giving you a
hypothetical.
Hypothetical, right? That there's someone in the Pentagon and the government say, people always say, how should we feel about this? Don't ask that question. That's sacred. Don't just give it away easily to somebody to tell you what the narrative is. You figure that out. Yes, you're going to have to engage your brain. You're going to have to actually work that gray matter in there, but you'll be better off. Trust me. Don't be so quick to give up your ability to think. And that's my concern. By the way, this is not directed towards you. This is my argument when people ask me my opinion. As tempting as it is to tell you my opinion, of course I have an opinion. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter, does it? What matters is what does the facts say? And then follow the facts, follow the data. That's how you get to a conclusion.
For the last 4 years, every time we do podcasts, I have to ask Rob or somebody, hey, can you pull up this news? Can you pull up that? Which way do these guys lean? Can you go back to the timeline of? Eventually, after asking so many questions, I said, why don't we design the website that we want aggregated? We don't write the articles. We feed all of it in using AI. So 8 months ago, I hired 15 machine learning engineers. They put together our news site called vtnews.ai. What this allows you to do when you go to it, if you go to that story right there that says Trump proposes overtime pay, click on it. It'll tell you how many sources are reporting on this from the left. If you go to the right, Rob, it says left sources, click on it. Those are all the left sources. If I want to go to right sources, those are the stories. If I want to go to center, I go there. Now, if I want to go all the way to the top and I want to find out a lopsided story that only one side is reporting on, either the left or the right. So if you notice the first one, will say Zelensky announces release of 49 Ukrainians from Russia. Notice more people on the left are reporting on that than the right. If I go to the middle one, same thing. If I go to the right one, same thing. You can see what stories are lopsided. And if I pick one of the stories, pick the first story, click on a Trump one, proposes overtime tax cuts. To the right on the AI, I can ask any question I want, but click on the first question that has it. It says, what is the political context and potential motivation behind the Trump's new tax cut proposal? Click on the question mark. It explains exactly what the motives are. So for you to use, whether you're doing a podcast, you're in the middle of a podcast, or you just want to know it for yourself, you're busy like myself. And last but not least, this is all AI doing this, so machine learning engineers. Go all the way to the top. I can go to timelines, and see how far back a story goes. Pick the Israel-Palestinian conflict. If I want to go to that and go back and see why are those 2 days a big spike, I'll have Rob pull it over to go to those 2 days with a big spike, and I'll see exactly what happened on that day or the previous day, and many other features vtnews.ai has. So simply go to vtnews.ai. There's a freemium model, there's a premium, and then there's the insider. If you want to have unlimited access to the AI, click on the VTAI Insider. You can now become a member effectively today.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.